It's 2:30 and I think we'll call this meeting to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks very much. Carl's gonna be late. He's still talking. He's just got on.
Oh, gosh.
I know, so
Like speaking.
he's speaking
Like a
right now,
speaking.
so he's.
the MC.
Oh, well, let's.
So,
So
can you hear me?
Virtual should be
I'll do
Steve,
whatever.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Steve, Jeff, and Eric. I see Eric is on, I see Steve. I don't see Jeff yet, does somebody on, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Jeff's there.
There he is.
He's a member?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so those three, and then Susan is absent,
Eric.
and we have George, Megan, and Mark.
All right, good. So
Here,
we have a,
present.
good. Thank you.
Okay,
Minutes from 4:21 and 5:12. I think they've been sent out from, Jerry. I need a motion to approve them.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from our last meeting. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I need a second.
I had a question.
All right.
Yeah, just, I saw the fire chief was listed as in
Yeah.
attendance
where,
on the minutes.
Well,
which
the-
ones?
This,
So from the
From
meeting
meeting
after the referendum, the
Well, he
vote.
was there.
Okay, no, I just wasn't sure. like,
Oh, no,
why
if,
he-
if
why
it's
he's
a,
listed.
like the fire chief or the chief of
Any
police
town
or a
employee or-
department head, I put them
Okay.
down.
I was just asking, I was like,
Yep.
oh, and I didn't see him there. so-
Yeah, he was.
Other than that, no, I'm good, so.
Right. very good.
We didn't vote yet.
I know. Any other questions, comments? No? All in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Thank you very much. Opposed? Nay? Thank you very much. Jerry, thank you very much for your effort.
You're welcome.
These are tough, minutes. Public comments? Nobody there?
nobody online.
Nobody online? Thank you very much. Tax collector suspense report.
That would be me.
That be you?
Be
I
me.
don't know.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I am Erin Caldwell. I'm the collector of revenue for Old Saybrook, the tax man.
Let's sing a song.
Don't hang out with her.
So that's me. Happy to be here. Thank you. So hopefully everyone got a copy of the suspense list. Yes, if you gathered those. Okay, so please see the submitted suspense list, and this is suspense list for the town of Old Saybrook. As a tax collector in Connecticut, I adhere to specific state statutes. And one of the things we learn in class is with the state statutes, some things you may do and some things you must do. And if it's something you must do, it has to be done. So per state statute 12-165, tax collectors in Connecticut must submit a detailed statement to the local governing body, which is you. And it details uncollected accounts. This must be done at least once a year. To move a tax to suspense, it must include the name, the address of the delinquent payer, the specific amount owed, and the reason it cannot be collected. And it's usually companies that are no longer in business, bankruptcy, a deceased individual, or we simply can't locate them. We do our best. We really do try to find these people. And we have a system called LexisNexis where our assistant will really try to dig when things come back and try to find someone. So we don't just take it lightly. After approval of the list, I file the list with the town clerk, so it goes on record. The suspense list is made up of personal property, motor vehicles, and motor vehicle supplementals. Real estate is not on the suspense list. And now, even though accounts are deemed uncollectible, we still make every effort to collect the tax for 15 years. And I looked it up this morning, in the last fiscal year, we collected about $7,500 in accounts, taxes that are on the suspense list for the past 15 years. So we still do make efforts at it. So for this year, I've added the grand list for 2020 with a total of 26,937.09 that are deemed suspense. I noticed there was a jump from last year. Big jump in personal property and motor vehicle. And obviously I wasn't here. I'm assuming or just making a judgment call. It probably had something to do with COVID because that was the COVID year. So people weren't working, businesses, personal property could be in a restaurant, the equipment in a restaurant, the ovens or different things. It could, people weren't driving their cars. So they just weren't.
Didn't they also say that they didn't have to pay their taxes on time?
Technically, you really didn't, but people didn't, and lots of municipalities weren't aggressive with them.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't such a, like a notice, you don't have to pay your taxes, but, people were, if you remember. That, but that's what I'm chalking it up to, so, if you have any questions, you're.
Just on the personal property, I'm assuming that is because businesses file those, most people probably don't report. Is that primarily businesses?
Oh, yeah, personal property is only for businesses.
Okay,
And once a year, I think it's January, they come in and they declare their personal property to Bridget Reardon, the assessor.
yeah, no, I know how that works, I'm just saying the suspended amount, just because a business should, in my mind, be the last one to not pay their taxes.
It's actually the
If in a
hardest,
bankruptcy, they have to pay their,
it's the hardest tax that we have to collect.
yeah.
They, for whatever reason, they feel that they don't want to or don't have to, and it's very difficult. This year we did, we brought on a collection agency, which, I don't think we'll use them again because we actually got better results. We got results by sending out letters saying if you don't pay, I'm gonna send you to collection, which initiated a good amount of payments. The collection agency itself hasn't really done much or had hands-on with anybody to bring in revenue. But we did bring in some money, but overall, personal property is the hardest to collect. Motor vehicle, if you don't pay your motor vehicle taxes and then you buy a new car and you go to the DMV, they come in here panicked. I need to pay my taxes, I need to pay my taxes. So, we have different tools in our toolboxes to get people to pay. Motor vehicles, you might not be paying now, and we actually have a lot of people who, they had a car, they move out of state, and then they come back. And then the tax is there, accruing interest, they can't get any cars or do anything with their cars until they pay the back taxes.
Right.
That's the same for motor vehicle supplemental. Now, real estate, we don't put those on the list because,
Always collect it.
it's, the tax is attached to
Right.
that piece of property. No one's picking that up and taking that to California, so that's, easier to collect.
On the personal property from the businesses, then, is there a list of what businesses didn't pay?
Mhm.
Is that public information, or is that?
Is that public information?
I'm
Is,
sorry.
is that public information, a list of personal property that we collect?
I don't think so.
Didn't pay?
Probably. but-
No, I think it is. It's public, yeah, it's public. Somebody comes up and asks, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I could go, that would be a big incentive if it were my business and I had neglected to pay my taxes. And now I'm on a list that the public sees.
No, they're not really incentivized by it, they don't wanna pay it,
Okay.
and, but we have made some headway on it this year. And like I said, we make great efforts to collect taxes. We're fortunate in this municipality. We have, even for personal property, it's right now, I think, 97% collection rate. Was as opposed to other municipalities, when I go to meetings, they have much lower collection rate, so.
Okay.
When we use a collection agency, I know you said that it wasn't very successful, do they take like half of that, is that
They
generally?
take 15%.
They
But
take-
they added on to the bill.
Oh.
So if you owe $75, you're gonna pay the $75, you're gonna pay interest, then they're gonna take 15% and put it on as a fee.
Okay.
So,
So we don't pay that for it.
well, even if we collect it, as soon as they were attached to it, even if the agency didn't collect it, we're still giving them the 15%, which, we have to look at it a little more in depth, but, worthwhile. it might be just a better idea just to send out letters, we're gonna send you to collection, because like I said, that's what motivated people. And we're not really the kind of town that threatens people with collections, so, you know. We did it a little bit and got a little bit of money, but anyway, these accounts, the 26,937,09 is the next one to go on the list for 2020. And all of these stay on there for 15 years. After 15 years, we drop the last year. So that's,
But we still collect it if we can.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We're not gonna turn anybody away or this, we're not.
Do you have any questions online, Jeff? Steve, Eric? I have a couple of quick questions.
No,
So,
I'm good.
are these taxes, they go up with, tax rates, right? They'll actually go up. with-
Interest.
Well, no, but I
Each-
mean,
Each
but
month,
the tax amount goes up with,
no, this is the tax.
no, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I mean, you made a point that 26,000 this year was stayed higher than previous, but
Mhm.
I mean, in my mind, right, it's incredibly stable how the the last column number has been. And you think of just by in terms of inflation, right, I mean, if taxes are, some proportion of the property, taxes, the amount will go up, right? So it's surprising that it's actually that stable, given that there is an inflation
Yeah,
behind
and it could have been, it could have been affected by the mill rate, like I said, I wasn't
Right.
here.
Right.
So I don't know what the mill rate was that year, so it may be higher for that. I just noticed, that's just an
Yeah.
observation on my part.
Yeah,
That it went from, 2277
Right.
in 2019 and then jumped up almost, close to 10,000. I thought it was a big jump and I factored in the COVID, but it
See.
could have been other factors, yeah.
Sure. I mean, what's also surprising me, if you look at 15, 16, I mean, 15, 14, and 13, right? I mean, the property tax is almost half the normal, but the motor vehicle went up. It made a difference, so again, the total was almost the same, it's just amazing.
Well, the people weren't really driving much and they probably weren't motivated to pay their taxes on their cars when they couldn't really go to the supermarket and go other places, so.
Like you said, right, I mean, we have a budget of 50 million plus, right? And so this is a very small percentage.
But I do, like I said, per state statutes, I have to let you know about it.
Right.
And have you review it and sign it, and then it goes to Sarah Becker to be filed.
My sign copy, you know.
Yes, that's it. Thank you for seeing me.
Thank you. We don't need to make any motion like that, right?
No, you got it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
You don't need me anymore.
No.
Good meeting.
Thank you, Ron.
Next item up is treasury report.
Okay. So, our executive summary as of April 30th. Fiscal year to date, the town has received revenue of 54,335,327. Or 102.8% of the total amount of $52,843,405 budgeted for fiscal year 26. So when comparing our performance to last fiscal year, we are 1% behind last year. Excuse me? Oh, let somebody said something. Then we'll move to our authorized investment section. At the end of April, the town had 44.3 million in its bank accounts. Hold on, talking. Sorry, so that I could hear all this noise in the background. In last month, the stiff rate stayed steady at 3.78, and today it's at 3.69. And as you guys, I think all know now, Webster gives us the stiff rate in arrears, and their rate last month was 3.78. Any questions there? Okay. Good. And we'll move down to the pension plan. At the end of April, we received our report from Morgan Stanley. Thank you. That's okay, actually, we probably need the air. The town pension plan is up 8.71% fiscal year to date versus its benchmark of 14.09%. Over the 3-year horizon, the town plan has returned 10.51% versus its benchmark of 14.67%. The fire department pension plan is up 8.14% fiscal year to date and has returned 10.06% over the 3-year horizon versus its benchmark of 14.67%. Yes, Mark?
The numbers that I have are different than what you're. I had for the fire department pension, the return was 8.14.
8.14 is what I
Oh, I
said.
thought you said 10.
No, then I go into the return 10.06. You don't have that. That
Oh.
comes off of I have that.
So that's the return before the fees?
It's, no,
3-year return.
the 3-year, it's a
Okay, you
3-year.
heard that. I'm
the
sorry.
3-year.
Okay,
Okay,
yep, thank you.
you don't have that, I apologize.
No, that's okay. I wasn't listening well enough, I guess.
It's. Maybe did you have a little
No.
beverage?
no.
It's okay. All right, any other questions, sir?
I do have another one, and I think this came up before, but the discrepancy is higher now. The benchmark we use, is that a benchmark chosen and assigned by the advisors? Or did we like pick one a long time ago? and
Whatever our asset allocation is, all the way down, they take like a weighted average.
Right.
S&P, you know, the
Right.
bonds,
Right.
all that other stuff. And so,
That's just a huge discrepancy from a benchmark. It makes me think it's either not the right benchmark or.
the benchmark is fine. It's the fact that our number one priority is to pay the pensioners. Cash flow is our number
Right.
one priority. So we have a lot of value strategies in there and a lot of strategies that you know, look for a higher
Income.
dividend paying income investments and things like that. So it's also, you know, when there's a lot of risk on in the market like there is now, our active managers do tend to underperform because they have more conservative types of investments and they're just a lower beta than what the market has. So there's, you know, this is a very common question that we do get with our investment portfolio, but when the market goes south, then we should take a look at that benchmark. And
Right.
if it's not higher than the benchmark, then we have a problem, you know, because it's designed to be less risk averse than the typical market is.
Yeah, just so, like, for me, for one of my clients,
Portfolio.
if it's a 25-year-old client. And I have them allocated, you know, 80-20, for instance, I'm gonna have a benchmark that's 80-20. I'm not gonna compare them to a benchmark that's 50-50 or vice versa.
So we
Very
have
different.
60-40.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
60-40 is our benchmark. Within the 60% emerging markets, international markets, US markets, et cetera, make up that.
Yeah.
But whatever those markets returned as their, you know, whatever the particular benchmark
Yeah.
is that we use for those, that's how we do it. So we don't do like 60-40 Barclays Ag and S&P 500. We
No,
actually
I think we have blended benchmark,
blended,
but
yeah.
it just. I don't know.
So
If
Yeah.
Steve has-
Yeah, I know we,
If I have a percent differential, my client would say, what's going on? And I would really hope that I just had the wrong benchmark associated with.
that is one of the largest differences that I have ever seen.
Okay,
And I think, George, we have it on our agenda to have Morgan Stanley come in.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And you know, now would be a great time over the summer to see them
It is a good time.
because of the benchmark. And, you know, because I think it's great for the board to take,
Yeah.
listen to what they have to say.
okay.
And Kevin wants to come in because he, you know, we have discussed that we have some new people and finance people so that it can be explained a little bit
Right,
better
okay,
by Kevin.
awesome.
Okay. So. And it is a spending portfolio. I mean, we need money for income.
I get that, and that the benchmark should reflect the.
I know, no, I understand that. I understand.
Portfolio. That's-
I know.
yeah. Okay,
But
and
really-
I'm not complaining about it.
No, I mean, it does do well, but you know, there are fluctuations each and every month, unfortunately.
Yeah, the way, if you're gonna have a benchmark to compare to, it should serve as a benchmark, right? A market event.
So I think they feel that we're got a decent.
So our real benchmark, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Our real benchmark is our discount rate, which is 6.75.
Right.
That's our real,
Yes.
that's our real benchmark, so we want to return
Right.
higher than that. But yes, we do compare ourselves to the market just to make sure that when we invest our money, that we're not 6% off, for
Right,
example, you
right.
know, so, and we do ask, that is a lot off, that really it is.
Yeah.
It's not usually that much, and I'm
Right.
kind of interested to hear what
Yeah.
he's gonna have to say in a couple weeks myself, so.
He's, yeah.
Yeah, Mark, we've brought this up a few times before.
Yeah.
I totally agree, you know, on the investment side, but I think it'd be great having gone through the budget season now and things should be quieter to get him in so we understand. But my understanding is the benchmark, unlike, you know, you and I choosing a benchmark for our clients, Mark, is generated based on the holdings and has a tremendous focus on protecting on the downside. So it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay, we'll make a plan, have him come in,
awesome.
because I think the summer is a good time. Okay, thank you for that input. So, okay, page 2 of the treasurer's report. We'll go through this pretty quickly. So tax revenues were 73,644,000, or 101.3% of the amount budgeted for fiscal year 26. In terms of local revenues, the town collected $155,383 locally, or $320,132 in local revenues. We received, if you look at the state section, we received $91,095 from the state for our education cost sharing grant, the ECS grant. I'm not sure if we're getting any more. What do you say, Leanne?
I thought that we would get, I think we're probably done, but I really did think we were gonna get 130,000. That must have been
Yes.
what was on the budgeted report that when we did the budget last year.
Now, so what about the extra money that the governor was giving to the towns? Will we be getting any extra money for this year?
Next year.
Oh, it's for next year.
Yes.
Okay.
The, one of the newspapers showed it was about 40,000 that Old Saybrook would get.
But that's next year.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's like.
I know, I read
Yeah,
that.
for the
I read
coming-
that
for the
too.
coming
For the
budget.
coming budget.
Oh, all
There was
in, all
three different
together,
chunks, I
all
think.
together,
Yeah.
I thought, so all together, I think it's about the same. I don't think it's gonna be that much more. And sometimes when we look at that number, they have in it special ed, which might be where we're getting more money, but that goes directly to the school. So when we look at it,
I'll see it, yeah.
it's see it.
Okay. So you think you think we're done with our ECS money?
Yeah.
Probably. Also. Okay. And then basically,
Question, Barb, can I just stop 1 second? I'm sorry to interrupt, but Leanne, when's the last time Saybrook went to RFP for fund manager? And what's the process? I just wonder how long it's been since you got, we're anticipating a $10 million capital campaign on a competitive municipal bond offering. I just wonder if we should be looking at our RFP process for a financial advisor.
So, we have pretty much done an RFP for every single advisor on all levels of the government over the past 10 years. And in terms of the pension plan, we did the actuary, we did our, benefit consultant, Brown and Brown, and they both won. The existing managers both won. In terms of Morgan Stanley, we didn't do an RFP on our pension plan, but what we did do was an RFP on our defined contribution plan. And we went from ICMA to Morgan Stanley. We went from a 1% fee to our employees to 55 basis points. And which I think is the best benefit is that the Morgan Stanley representatives are registered so that they can actually give advice to our employees. And they've done plan reviews and everything for our folks. So that can be segregated if we wanted to look at DC plan versus money manager. However, one of the reasons why we didn't go for them doing an RFP on their on their pension plan is because the book of business as a whole made the fees less expensive. They have a track record of doing a great job, and so we didn't do that piece. But yes, we could at any point.
One other question there on the DC plan, on the RFP, how many firms submitted proposals?
I know at least two. There might have been a third, but I can't remember.
So
So,
fairly finite, okay.
yeah, I think maybe three, to be honest with you, I just can't remember. That was, 5 years ago, so
We didn't go out for Morgan Stanley for the pension plan?
not the
Oh, yeah.
pension plan
Okay.
at that point, because we looked at the relationship as a whole. And we were
Okay.
happy.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt, I just, now I understand.
Yeah.
That's okay. And other people have something. Okay, so then just to finish up very quickly, recording fees, the town clerk's office, in my opinion, must have had some very big closings in April. They brought in $73,565 in recording fees for April. So that's a big month. The building department also brought in $55,650 in building permits in April. So those are two big amounts of money for April. And the refuse collection brought in $13,097. So it was a busy month in April for those three departments. And then adding it all up, we have a $1,491,922 surplus at the end of April. That's all I have.
Questions for Barbara? Thank you, Barbara. Quick question, Barbara. So,
Sure.
we're getting pretty close to the end of the year. So minus the interest, line items, most of the other items are probably be it in terms of.
Well, I think we'll still see some, we're still gonna get interest.
The interest, of course, yeah,
Yes.
but just in terms of getting close to what our surplus might be for this year, so.
I was gonna talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, the other question I had was, just basically based on what Aaron was just talking about. When they do collect money from previous years, is that the first or I guess, or actually the other way?
EP is prior period tax.
Yep.
That's where it would be?
That's where it would be.
I see.
And then, interest on prior years, so we separated
Right.
out.
So those are those two, see those two items?
Yeah,
Those-
so one is for property tax, I'm sorry, one is for houses or real estate, and the other one is for.
It's all lumped in together, so current taxes includes real estate, personal property, motor vehicles, that's the big one, 50
Yep.
million.
No, but the first
And
two,
And the first two, the prior period is the principal on personal property and motor vehicles.
That's when you're late,
Or
you have
homes,
interest.
yeah, like, so in other words, if it was supposed to be collected in fiscal year 24,
I see.
it would go into that
I
category.
see,
And then interest on those funds that we collect in the prior periods is in the category above it.
I see. So essentially you guys are budgeting $225,000 for what Aaron just talked about?
Yes.
This year. Wow. And you guys are actually getting it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That 15%, whatever recovery fee that she's asking for, seems like it's worth it then.
Well, these are, I mean, they go on suspension after what, 5 years, is that
Yes, 5 years,
So then-
that's, yeah,
pretty big gap there? I mean,
Yeah.
this presumably, most of this is more current that we're.
yes, that's a good
Exactly,
point, Mark.
yeah.
You're absolutely right. So, yeah, so the suspension list starts in 2020 and goes back 15 years.
This is fair enough, yes,
This is mainly stuff collected in the last few fiscal years.
very good, thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Finance director report?
All right, I'll start with the projected surplus. As the treasurer said, 1.5 million over budget has been collected so far. Based on what was collected last year for May and June, we had about 700,000. So that brings us to 2.2 million. We can expect about 600,000 to not make it. It's going to go back to the Board of Ed. So that brings us down to 1.6 million is And actually, I should clarify that that 0.6 will come out of the expenditure side. So, you know, we look at the revenue surplus and then we look at the expenditures surplus. The expenditures, we usually try to have them come in as stated or, you know, managed a little bit better, but that is just one thing I know is gonna happen, so I like to bring it up. So we will have a lower surplus than we did last year, I'm fairly certain. Down to ARPA, again, we are eking things out. The one thing that I, you know, we just had about 5,000 extra in expenditures during April. I haven't heard anything on the cemetery. That's the one, and we did look at this at one point before. I don't know if everybody was here. But they said they're gonna have it done, and everything else, I'm sure is moving right along, so I think we're gonna be fine with that. There has been no Board of Finance action, so I'm gonna skip by page 2. On page 3, you know, we had our cash flow activities, our general fund was down about 800,000. In our capital funds, we didn't have anything material, that was about $700. In our reserve fund, that was actually minus 56,900. That was when we moved, you approved a couple months ago, the masonry work on Town Hall, which has been driving us crazy for the past week, because all the years.
Is that what that scalp thing is up there?
Yes, it's been very loud. But anyway, that's, that came out of the reserves and went into the, non-major funds. And that is up, the non-major funds are up 139,000. We had, 48,000 in our, what we call TIF, our tax incremental financing. That is for, Mariners Way. We do that transaction at the end of the year, every single year. And, I should have had the balance of this, about 215,000 now in that account. We also had 33,000 in cannabis funds come in, so that makes up close to the 139,000 that came into the non-major funds along with the masonry. There weren't many changes on page 4 in our capital. All of the named projects are complete, with the exception of the economic development town rebrand. I think she's still working on that. And we've spent all of our capital funds for the most part in budget, so that's going well. The last page, I have a few comments. So this is the time of year when I start talking about what line items might, or what departments might go over, what line items might go over. So registrar of voters, 4149 is 110%. That's really only about $8,000. I'm not sure what the recent referendum, if all of those expenses are in, but we had an extra referendum. So there's it is expected to go over because we weren't expecting all of those referendums. A couple lines down further, ZBA 415502. So far that is not over, but I received a message from the town planner that they have some legal issues that are going on there. And they're hiring counsel, and she expects that department as a whole might go over by $6,000. You know, she doesn't expect it would be any more than that. And so there wouldn't be any consequences if it does go over. Down further is PD general expenditures. They're at 107%. They're over by $34,000. And I'm just gonna go. So the Board of Finance has a budget monitoring policy. I don't know if that was in place when all of you were elected, but basically the police department is those 3 line items. Field service, support service, pardon me, and expenditures. And so at the end of the year, that whole line item cannot go over by $25,000. That if it does, then the Board of Finance has to take action. However, the Board of Finance said, well, that's all well and good, but we'd like to know, like, if some of the individual line items are going over, just because we want to know if for budgeting purposes, when you consider the budget every single year. So I did get a memo from Chief Onofrio, and as an overall point of view, he mentions, and we all know this, that a lot of the line items in the operational budget of the police department have not changed since 2020. They've been just stay the same, knowing that, it's hard to keep the police department at full employment. So there's usually some excess there, and they use that to help maintain operations. But nonetheless, operations should be appropriately funded. And he mentioned that the budget that we're going to go into, there's been major changes. So just as a caveat, mention that he wants. So general expenses, purchase professional services is over. That the reason, and that's just a line item within that budget, and I did not bring the budgets for you, so I apologize. Next month, I'll bring it in so you can see what we're looking at. But the IT department operations person retired, and then they went out and they hired a consultant service. So we knew that was happening. That happened mid-fiscal year. There was nothing we could do about it in the budget. So it's that contracted price that we're paying, the police department is paying for now, that has caused that line item to go over. Legal services, they have had some independent investigations going on this year. I don't know what they are before you ask. And so that line item is over because they've hired attorneys to assist with that matter. PD general expenditures, repair and maintenance. This one is over, and this is the one line item that in the past, we used to take money from outside services and top it off, but we don't do that anymore, just for fuel. So this one is over, and he mentions, given the age of his fleet, that, there's been a lot of wear and tear, but we are going to be getting new cars, and he expects that in next fiscal year, it's going to be closer to normal. I actually have an update on that in a moment. Building maintenance, the building is 10 years old, and they went over budget on that line item. Plumbing repairs, repairs to the fuel tank, repairs to the overhead garage doors, and the climate control system. General expenditures, communications, right now they're about $13,000 over. But that includes encumbrances when we talk about what is over, and he expects that that purchase order isn't going to be used fully, and he states that they've been working very carefully with the vendors, reducing recurring costs by eliminating unused phone lines, disconnecting inactive modems, reviewing service needs, and he thinks that next year it's going to be better, less expensive. PD general expenditures, other supplies is over. That's due to repairs to worn body cameras, radar equipment, ammunition purchases, annual licensing costs associated with the department's license plate reader systems. And then PD general expenditures, professional education is also over. And he talked a lot about this. There's been training, leadership development, and professional education. 8 people had EMT certifications, which is contractually required. And they had other types of boating certificate training and FBI training and leadership training. So I think that he did discuss that in person. The last 2 things I have, number one is, as you know, he mentioned that we were moving forward with the purchase of the remaining police cars. And we did get a lease with Webster Bank for $450,000 at a rate of 4.176, call it 4.18. For 4 years, and the annual payment is going to be just under $125,000. So it did come in as we expected. And that is due to settle, I think, this Friday, so we'll be buying new cars starting next fiscal year. He bought 2026s instead of 2027s. I think he went through all of that. And then, the last thing is that the auditors are coming in a couple of weeks, getting ready for fiscal year end close.
Hmm.
That's it.
I did have a question.
Yes.
Okay, okay. The investigations, I'm assuming those are like internal investigations.
Or if somebody makes a complaint against the department.
Okay, but it's not, I was just thinking, we don't have to pay attorneys to investigate criminals. We have the state's attorney for that.
Correct,
Okay.
yes,
The internal stuff where it
Yes.
should be private. Okay.
yes.
Leanne, I have a question for you. We're looking at a bond financing, which I assume will be a competitive general obligation bond offering, which could be 5 months away. Who is I know that it was a firm out of Madison who was our public finance advisor. Is that still the case?
Yes, Munistat, Mark Chapman is our financial advisor.
Yeah, I know that name. And are we having conversations? Because 5 months is a heartbeat here as we get ready for that. And
Yeah.
who is our who's legal counsel, bond counsel?
Bertram Moses, well, I don't know who our bond counsel will be for that bond. That hasn't been chosen yet. We have a schedule working backwards from the referendum supposed date coming forward, so we are starting to talk about it, but we haven't had we haven't started yet. But we are planning at the moment. I guess that's probably the best way to say it.
And the only reason I bring that up is I think it could be a home run. I think that you're going to see Saybrook residents participating. Everybody loves to own a piece of their own town debt. And to the extent it's made aware to the public and marketed, could really drive down a lower net interest cost. I mean, I think that we can have a lot of fun with that deal.
I'm hopeful, and I think that we are going to be moving probably by the time we have our next Board of Finance meeting, either in June, obviously, I don't know if we'll have one early July. I think we typically have that one? Is that one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I will make a note to give a little more color on that very topic for next meeting. I think that would be fair.
Here he is.
Thank you.
Carl,
Perfect timing.
done early. Yeah,
We're still
getting
making
fast.
We're making it. So Leanne, I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
So, if I can go back to the capital outlay section again, section 3,
Yes.
right, so. I don't know why it's such a hard thing with this. So can we do the police vehicle reserve? So this would be the third line down on page 4.
Yep.
Right, so essentially we decided we're gonna put in $90,000 to,
95.
sorry?
95 next year.
Oh, 95, okay,
Yeah.
right, so, and that's, that used to be the interest payment, right, for car loans. But, and then when we stopped doing the car loans, we decided we're gonna basically use this, right, and so.
Correct, yeah.
So I actually have 2 questions for that, but so like that balance now is like 200,000?
It's gonna be gone. We haven't paid for those cars yet.
That's my question, right?
Yes.
So, but we bought, well, they bought 3 cars with this money, is that how that works?
Yes. 3 cars.
That's correct.
Yes.
Three,
Yes.
they bought 3. So in a few, in the near future, that 200,000 will be gone.
Gonna be
That's
gone.
zero. That'll be
Zero. Will be a
And
minus.
it'll be 90, then it'll be 0.
Oh, that's right, it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
But maybe there'll be 2,000
Yeah,
left.
yeah, yeah,
So
I see.
then we'll put in 95,000 in July. And then we will transfer some money from outside services potentially after we do that year-end calculation. That'll be added to it. If any cars are sold from the police department, like after he
Yeah.
does some of these things, that money will go in there. And then next, I think it's due in May. Our first 124,000 payment is due in May. So at that point, we'll have, let's say we have 100 and something thousand and we need 124,000. Then whatever we need comes up outside services.
I see, because that was my second part of the question. I think I understood what you said. So we're gonna start paying interest rate again for cars for the 6 new ones. And so we're gonna basically use the 95,000 to sort of
Yes.
help.
Mhm. So it'll go down to 0, and then we might want to think about increasing that amount,
I see.
in the next budget process.
Is right now all that getting funded by the outside services fund?
Is all about getting,
The 90,000, the 95,000,
no, that's coming from the budget that was
That's-
just approved.
that's your line item.
Yeah.
So every year in the operating budget, we have 95,
That's fine.
and then we immediately transfer it off budget into that account. So that'll happen on July 1.
Do you keep that on the police budget?
It's not in the police budget.
It's not, no, it's in, the capital budget,
I see.
the 780,000 that we set aside for capital, it's in that budget,
So I think the total payments, I want to say
124.
a year,
Yeah, just under 125,
so it'd be about 500,000 overall.
Yeah, all in.
correct, yes, yeah.
Okay.
How many years?
Four.
4 years. So, couple things, I mentioned it to Leanne this year, I said, well, we can start putting a little bit more money, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8,000 each year, a little bit more in the budget cycle. To kind of get that number up a little higher, but in addition to that, if we have. I don't know if they're gonna run a surplus in the police department. Looks like we're gonna have a pretty good revenue surplus, so. If, the police department, I don't know if they're gonna run a surplus this year or not, but if they had 50,000, maybe we take 25 and put it into this account so that we're comfortably where we need to be. Over the next few years. As we make these payments, but that's something we can talk about. When we see the numbers come in.
Yeah.
So, if that makes sense.
Which is the meeting when we start to talk about what we do with the surplus? Is that August, September?
Yeah, more like, August, yes.
We'll have some preliminary information in July.
Yeah.
So you'll have a little bit of a heads up, and then August, have a memo.
I mean, July's pretty tight, right? Because the school won't close until, they won't close their books until way at the end of June, right? So you won't know what it is.
We both close our books within 3 weeks. For 95% of everything. They're done faster than us. We have things that
Linger,
are longer, a little bit more complicated. What'd you say?
linger.
Oh, linger.
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 more hands
When bills come in and you're like,
Yeah.
that should have been, why is this?
Who waits
August?
6 months to bill?
And
Yeah.
it's a bill from June,
No, but I thought they used to do, the school does a lot of the things on using this year's budget over the summer, right?
Wait, I
They
didn't.
should be doing that.
June 30th, cut off.
But
The rule of accounting is, if it's done in this fiscal year, it gets paid for in this fiscal year. What you cannot do is say, oh, I'm gonna have $10,000 left, and call somebody and say, I'd like to have this done in August or not. That's the way it's supposed to work. So I think they do it properly.
Was that harsh? Thank you very much, Leanne. Any other questions?
Yep.
Oh, just a different time. You're up, Tasman irrigation?
Yeah, it is what it is. It is exactly what it says it is. We do a lot on our town green. It takes a beating. And I've talked to Ray about this for years. Getting it irrigated. And it didn't seem, we have a big event. The Kate is out there for their gala. There's just so much that goes on out there. So just trying to take care of it. $8,000. I didn't seem like, when I did my lawn, it was $6,000, So, I didn't think that was a bad number. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I
It's
mean,
not
I
about that.
agree. The only thing I was thinking about, which I'm sure you guys thought about, but if we're gonna start doing all this construction next door within the next year, right, is that gonna disrupt or it's
Nope,
completely?
because, so that's.
Not
an if.
driving on the green.
Yeah,
No equipment out there on the green.
like the cake construction.
No, it will not spill over beyond the sidewalk,
Okay,
will not. Um,
yeah, otherwise.
I'm
You
sorry,
need
I don't
us to
have
do
more.
anything?
What?
Do you need any, we need to
Well,
make a
it
motion,
would
we
be-
make a motion?
Yep, it would be a motion, so the Board of Selectmen have done this already, so it comes to you, and then I'll schedule it for town meeting at some point. We're having a town meeting, I think, next week. The Board of Selectmen are for the Neighborhood Assistance Act applications for the Cape and for the Connecticut Cancer Foundation. So if you act on this tonight, if it's approved, I don't know when we'll approve it at town meeting. Maybe when I have a little bit more business at some point, we'll do it. I won't do it right away because we're having one next Tuesday. So I'll see if there's any other business.
I was just a
Yeah,
process question. I mean,
Yeah.
these numbers are so small. Why are we coming, why do you need to come to us?
say again?
These numbers are so small. Why do we need to, why do you need to? come to
Because
us?
the money's coming from the capital non-recurring account.
I see.
So any money that comes out of that account has to go through a town meeting. I go Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, town meeting. It's just
I see.
because it's an undesignated fund.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Designated funds, in theory, the referendum, the voters have voted on
Yeah,
it, so
okay.
it's designated for public works capital. We can spend it on police, we can spend it on cars. These are things that just come up. It could be 2,000, it could be 500,000, but
I see, sure.
yeah. It's a little clunky, it works. We get through everything.
And is there also is there a limit before you need to go out for bid versus no limit?
Yes.
The 25?
Anything in our charter, it says basically we can sole source anything under 10,000.
Okay.
Anything between like 10 and 25, typically we solicit, we try to get at least 3 bids. And then public bid is typically over 25,000. You can still sole source under certain circumstances, and then there are certain things that are no bid on the charter. Professional services can be no bid. And that is specifically identified in the charter. Legal, engineering, things like that.
I'm gonna ask a question for the next one already. Is AstroTurf doing the next one? You didn't mention who's gonna do the next one.
Oh,
Like
it's
you.
the same one, Anderson Turf.
Oh, it is AstroTurf?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was,
George, I'm sorry.
That's fine, no, my fault, yeah, no, but we'll do this one first and.
Yeah, I think there's.
Yeah, they're both the same company.
Yeah,
separate
same
bids.
company,
Thank you.
separate, yes.
Will someone make a motion?
So moved.
Yeah. Beautiful, perfect.
Yeah.
You have the thing, Tom.
Somebody make a motion, I'll make the motion.
No, I thought
I feel like I'm making all the motions, so I'll make a motion to make an appropriation in the amount of $7,982 from the capital non-recurring fund 3350. For the purpose of installing irrigation on the town green, further to move this motion to town meeting.
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next one.
Yeah, so I had to get an explanation on this in Ray. And, let me so the backflow preventer, so we did on the town green by the pavilion right outside. There's this box, steel box, and that is the backflow preventer, which is a device that ensures water moves in one direction within an irrigation system and prevents contaminated water from backing up into the drinking water. It also keeps foreign objects from clogging and damaging pipes. At present, the backflow preventer for McMurray Field is located in the town green behind the gazebo. According to this, it would be relocated from behind the town green gazebo to the fence line nearest the firehouse, so it'd be moved over in that direction, making it easier to mow and to keep it out of the way from future functions on the town green. So this is a Ray Allen request. Just from a logical perspective, he says it's in the middle of nowhere and he'd like to move it. He's asked for this for years. It's just, I don't know how it's never, it's just never come forward. He hasn't. It has been a discussion point for a few years, so. And that's what's before you. I really don't have much to add to it.
So this is for the irrigation of McMurray Field?
Yeah,
So presumably this would also be. So the irrigation water from the town green wouldn't. backfill,
maybe,
so.
I'm not, I don't,
I'm not either. I
I'm
just,
not sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think that one's just for McMurray.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not so sure about that. Maybe there's another one next to it. Over
so I'm
there.
wondering if we're only paying like $8,000 for this whole new system and it includes that.
It's soup to nuts, the other one, yeah,
Beautiful.
so.
You're in a row, Mark. Would you like to do it again?
I think I've made every motion. on
Well,
this
how many have there
in the last
been?
6 months.
Oh, this one has been, well,
Sure, I like to talk. I'll make make a motion to make an appropriation in the amount of $8,154 from the capital non-recurring fund at 3350 for the purpose of relocating a backflow preventer and enclosure at McMurray Field. Further, to move this motion to town meeting. Second.
yeah.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any other questions?
Thank you for that. Yeah, let's see, where do we start? We do, have a new finance director. And the name is not Leanne.
Unfortunate.
The person, and I'm being cautious about saying the name because this person has a reasonably high profile job, and even though the supervisor knows this person will be leaving, they're afraid it would be too much of a little chaotic if it was public. So it will be shortly. Is that accurate? It will be shortly public, but we wanted to give this person opportunity to make it a smooth transition where this person currently works. But I'm very happy with the choice and the way it worked out. I'll tell the story at another later date, how we came on to this person, but coincidentally, Leanne knows this person also, and I think it is going to be excellent. So that's good news for everybody. September 1 start date. So in some capacity, Leanne will be staying on, not in a full-time capacity, but in some capacity. Is that accurate? If you wanna,
Yes.
I don't know if you wanna say anything about that.
No, whatever needs to be done, there's things I have to sign, there's reports that have to get done, we have the auditors coming in. To close up the fiscal year, lots of tasks involved in the fiscal year and most importantly. The bond issuance that, there's no way that this person can assist in that if it's gonna happen, hopefully. Targeting in September, October, we have to get the official statement done, so I can do all those things whenever. It's gonna be more whenever I can do them as opposed to normal hours.
It'll work out.
Hopefully you work those things around your tea times.
I am going to.
That's, as much as we want you to stay,
So the beauty of what's
you
going
should be
on.
playing golf all summer.
I should be, and I will be.
Yeah, you will.
You not so much. Leanne, yes, you're still here, you're
Uh,
retired.
So the nice thing here is the person who will be coming in is on leave right now for a personal reason. And Leanne and this person will be working together a little bit. So it'll be really good training and everybody getting up to speed. I think it's really gonna work out well.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on finding.
It's great.
To all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To all of us, honestly. We were very, very fortunate where we landed. So. Tomorrow night, the state will begin milling. Main Street. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. So what they're gonna do is the interior lanes, according, next to the median will be first. So they're gonna do the interior lane up and down, then they're gonna do the exterior lane up and down. Wednesday night, Thursday night, no work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. And I don't think they can work Monday. Oh, obviously Memorial Day,
Do they
so
rip
they'll
it
come back
apart?
Tuesday. I'm sorry?
They rip up what's down there now?
It's a 2-inch mill and pave, so.
So we're having a Memorial Day parade and a milled up.
Nope, it'll probably be paved, mostly paved at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you just said 2 days of milling and then they take the weekend
No,
off.
no,
Well, they mill and
the
paint.
whole job is 3 days.
Oh, they do?
The whole
Yeah,
job.
like on the island, it's a machine.
Like,
should
do
be
you like rip it up?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
they
it
do, they
grinds it
scrape
up.
it,
Yeah.
fill it up,
machine too, they're pretty
Yeah, it's
crazy.
pretty fast.
So it's still calm. You know, I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, are they ever gonna rip up the trolley tracks, the old trolley tracks? So that's why you hear that on Main Street when you go down Main Street, that's why there's ripples, because apparently those are the old trolley tracks and the road settles. So it's a 2-inch, so it's not gonna get to the tracks. And that would be a state decision to, if they ever wanted to really do the road right. But it's too expensive to do that. They'd have to go pretty deep, I think. So this is, so what they're doing is they're gonna do the 2 lanes. We've asked them, and they don't always do this, to go right to the white lines, the parking lines, right to the end of them. So they're gonna do that on day 3. There's a parking ban next Tuesday night into Wednesday. However, the Kate is actually having a rather large event for one of their biggest benefactors next Tuesday night. So we're gonna work with them on, no, it's gonna work out. They said, look, in terms of, this is what I was doing last Thursday. I was at a conference, a municipal conference, with our insurance company, Kerma, last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so all day, Brett was in a panic. So all day, Thursday, I'm on the phone with Phil Kahn and Brett and the chief to figure out how we're gonna handle this. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna mill that area between the outside lane and the parking space. That's gonna be the last thing they do. They don't need a parking ban, they said. What they do need is no cars extending beyond the lines. So subsequent to this being done, Jesse did come in and mill all the parking spaces up and down Main Street, pave, restripe. And we're gonna get that done. Whether it's all done by mid-June, hopefully by the street party, I don't know. So that's what's going on Main Street. The state did not want the crosswalk project to continue prior to them getting in here. They wanted to be done first. So we put them off. They're ready to come in and do the job. They will come in and do the job subsequent to all this happening. So that's on Main Street. Route 1 is a disaster over by, I know, out by Dairy Queen. What they're doing right now is all the driveway aprons. And on either side, so from the edge of the road to the sidewalk, and then the apron, which is in the state right of way. On all these properties that they had to run sidewalks through, they probably have another 4 days of this, according to them. Then they will begin, then they have landscaping and other stuff, but it shouldn't be too, block the road too much. Then they will begin on the West Marine side over there, and they will go to Westbrook Town Line. That's going on. So that I'm sick about it because I actually wanted to go out there today and see what they were getting done. And I turned around because I'm like, I don't have time to wait in this. And and then of course on Elm Street, under the bridge, Amtrak bridge,
Every day.
that's a 3-week job where they're painting and doing some work to the Amtrak bridge. And so, that's another lane of traffic.
Speaking of outside services. There's a lot of cops on the road right now. They're making a lot of money on outside jobs right now. Because the town, the Route One project, even though it's a town project, the cops are being paid. Some of it was part of the bid. It might exceed the bid, but we have 40,000 that we set aside from last year's surplus for outside services, which is a good thing we did that. So I do think that will cover it, no problem. Trying to think what else. Budget passed. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of other towns.
Didn't pass.
A lot of budgets are not passing.
Yeah.
A lot. There's definitely. I don't know, there's an undercurrent right now. Clinton, the Board of Ed didn't pass, the town barely passed, but there's a bunch of other towns around us where budgets have passed. I was, at the conference, I was with about 15 other mayors and first selectmen, and I was talking to, Dave Demchek, who's the president and executive director of Kerma. He's on the Board of Finance in Granby, which I can't believe. I mean, Dave, I'm like, Dave, you're on the Board of Finance, like, and he's like, yep, their budget, 3 referendums already.
Wow.
Good old line.
I'm sorry?
Old line, did they, there's the last word.
Read about
I
it?
think it did. It
Um,
was yesterday.
Good.
they passed.
I'm sorry,
Chester didn't pass.
did not?
No, it didn't.
Did not. Board of Ed did not pass.
Yeah, all right, so, oh yeah, that's the regional school district, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, anyway, I mean, congratulations to this Board of Finance, and, decent, not a great turnout, but a good vote, and hopefully whatever, conversations need to happen will happen. I've had some of those conversations myself recently, but I'm not gonna share them publicly. I've had some private conversations with, on the Board of Ed side. What else? I'm trying to, I mean, very,
Carl, I have
Yeah.
a question. I think we're coming to a close on the 60-day due diligence on the Saybrook Point, the pavilion.
no, that's 120 days.
Oh, I thought it was 60. Okay, my
And
bad.
it might be extended, but that's another good thing to talk about. The seawall, we had the bids come in. I don't know if I talked about this, so.
I think you did it though.
Okay, so the bids came in, they were reasonable, which is good. We're gonna be talking with the low bidder, I think, in the next few days. It's a time and materials job, so. The bid was like over 300,000, we have about 800,000 set aside, so that could go to 500, depending on what they find, so. What?
We'll definitely go higher.
Yeah,
you can
well, it
absolutely
will,
do
it
that.
has to, yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely
it
will.
Well,
But I think we're in a good spot in terms of where the bids came in. So,
You're not able to say right now who bid on it, right?
yes, it's public information, yeah.
Who was it? It's okay, if you don't know right now. it's
No,
okay.
I do, I sent
Just
some,
curious.
like, one of the contractors asked for it today, so I can tell you all 7.
Oh, wow,
was
7?
in. Yep, we had 7 bids.
Wow.
If you want that, I can hold that up pretty quickly. She's not riveting. Oh, here you go, right here. All right, so a company called Sumco, SUMCO, bid 307,000. Mocknick, they're in Old Lyme. They bid 368. Braza, local guy, bid actually, the bid before that was 365. Braza bid 368. Northern Construction. I messed that up. Bid 543. B&W Paving, which is they did our Chalkers Mill Pond Dam and the crosswalk project. They bid 579. And then National Shoring bid 744.
So is there some kind of like escalation clause on these? Like, I mean, why wouldn't you just, if, bid really low and then say the prices go, I mean, that's a big range, I mean,
No,
not a business.
the
but,
range
I mean,
is-
there
The
like?
range
you
is
can't go over
pretty big,
10%?
the range is pretty big, but the first 4 bids were between 307 and 377. So that's a pretty good range right there.
Yeah.
So we were pretty happy with that.
But there's nothing to say that that can't go up to 700,000, and that maybe the 500,000 people are more
Yeah.
accurate, right?
All you can do is check references, make sure they're a good contractor. You can definitely disqualify contractors. We've done that. And, you know, if we do our research and find that the low bidder is not a reputable guy, we'll move on. So
For the bid documents still on the website for the public to see.
I don't know if they're still on the website, but I'm happy to share them.
Could you send them to me?
Could you remind me?
I'm reminding you right now, could you send them to me?
If you don't get them, you can probably remind them.
When I see you leave your driveway tomorrow, I'm gonna text you right away and say, can you send it to me? I'm just curious what the scope of work is, that's all.
Yep, and, yeah, so, and we are in the middle of a phase 2. I haven't gotten any results on the phase 2 from, the Dock 9 property itself. We have the RFP drafted. I think I said that at the last meeting. I think we're gonna put that out. We didn't really get any comments. I'm hoping the selection committee for the landscape architect is 3 members from Park and Rec, 1 member from Economic Development Commission, 1 member from the Planning Commission, 5. And then I'll be ex officio maybe with Jennifer down here. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you know, I don't wanna make it brain surgery, you know, it's a good RFP. Let's see what comes in and we'll figure it out from there. I'm thinking put that out in maybe next week, 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, July and August, figure out the selection process. Obviously bring somebody on after we own the property. Jeff, you were talking about when do we look at surplus? I will definitely be coming to this board asking, assuming the property is gonna transfer, asking for some working capital for that project. So we can really get going. That's, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't really prepare much.
I have a quick question. I mean, more for Leanne, when you guys were talking about, you know, the bonding that's gonna be happening this summer, has the school reached out in terms of, are they going to? I mean,
It's probably too late.
I understand, but at some point they're gonna say, hey, we need $1 million for the turf. It is, that turf field is up for the air.
It is, I mean, I keep hearing it's in relatively good condition, but you know, I'm no expert on that, but no, they have not.
And all the other stuff. I mean, they had so much stuff at the last page of their last budget that was named capital items. None of them. They all said town is, and they have not reached out. Okay.
Is there, no, just adding on to that, and you might know this being on the board of ed for so long, but I remember one of the things was like the lack of air conditioning. You know, it's like the reason behind whether there's not gonna be a camp this summer. And they do have it, I guess, in the middle school, but not all of it. I'm not really up on it, but have they asked for money for air conditioning?
No, they have money set aside for air conditioning.
And is that like at Goodwin, I know it's mostly done, but there are a couple areas that don't have it. Is that in the works? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I know.
So what I recall is at the end of the fiscal 25 year, there was an ask to finish project at Clifford High School. I have to assume it's finished, but maybe it's not. I don't
I don't
know.
think Goodwin is done.
No, then it's not done.
And I believe, didn't they and I'd have to look
It was
back,
about
but.
400,000 as I
Right,
recall.
didn't we put money, wasn't in
we get-
surplus
we get
money
surplus
last
money.
year that got put into the named HVAC account, I believe, at the
Yeah.
end of last
Oh, yeah.
fiscal year.
So they have the money.
But Goodwin is not, I don't think they finished Goodwin yet,
They didn't finish it.
no.
That's
And then
part
the
of
middle
thing
school
is
has
from-
nothing.
from-
There's nothing at the middle school, I don't think. There might be like 2 rooms that have it, and then the high school, I think, is the same.
I thought they had to do a camp at the middle school.
No,
They
because
had to do it. 'cause
well, they might be doing it in an isolated room, but I'm pretty sure that they said middle school is next because they were talking about
Middle school would be next.
how difficult it is to do it there because it's the age of the building and they were
Yeah.
thinking about, remember they were talking about doing like mini splits almost in multiple
Yeah.
classrooms and.
And I've heard the
Yeah.
high school is half done anyway, like there's air and
like the band room and the central
Yeah,
office, then there's a couple like spot.
So, so they haven't asked for any money from the surplus or anything like that?
No, there's no surplus right now to talk about, because we're still in the middle, from their surplus, or?
Like, just historically, I mean,
Yes.
do they have a couple $1,000,000 that they're sitting on that they
We
just
have
haven't?
I think it's about 1.3 million for
Okay.
the HVAC
That,
system.
but I did see that in
Yeah,
the reports, and
yeah.
that's, okay, so they have it.
They have some money, it's not enough.
No, it's over $1,000,000, it's
Right.
enough to do something.
And then they have over $1 million in unnamed capital, like.
Okay.
That's been designated for Board of Ed capital projects, so they wouldn't have to go to town meeting again,
Right.
but it does have to come back to the Board of Finance.
The middles, the whole thing was a state mandate when after COVID, the middle school at that time, when they went up to bid, well, the football park was $2.5 million that time already. And that was 5 years ago. I doubt it's still. I bet it's on more.
4 million.
Yeah, it's that 1.5 million will barely cover.
Well, it's just, I know people balk at schools getting air conditioned, but, it gets hot a lot earlier in the year, it's hot a lot later in the year. And if, one of the things we do as a town is decide to offer a camp, and then we have to take it away because of lack of air conditioning, it's like, those could be year-round resources. And I was just thinking about the budget, because I'm imagining like, oh, how come we can put in a new turf field or whatever, but we can't have summer camp because of the air conditioning. You know what I'm saying? So but it sounds like that's not really our issue, because they already have the money, should they?
Not much, though.
They have some monies. Yeah.
They have some.
But it's a mandate too, by the state now,
Right,
right? This
so it's
isn't like
Then why isn't it being done, I guess?
well, I guess there's, I think it was, I don't remember, but I feel like they talked about some phase, like, right, they were, it was incremental, but it was required at some point, which is, and they opted to do it first.
So,
The reason they weren't using the grammar school was the mediation of the asbestos.
right, but they said that nobody could be in the building, but they could have been in the other schools if not for the lack of air conditioning. And the small amount of air conditioning they do have, they have mandated, I'm assuming that means summer school.
Yeah.
Mandated programming, so they can't just say, oh, we'll use that for the camp, so. But if all the schools were air conditioned, that wouldn't be an issue.
Well, I think they're getting that. I think
Yeah.
the grammar school is air conditioned.
I don't think the cafeteria, I thought that was in the.
Cafeteria in the gym are not, I believe.
Just trying to head off, I mean, it's, these are legitimate questions.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah.
Especially with the cake coming up before, it's gonna be a big bunch of money from the
Big
town,
money.
and like, I'm supportive of it, but also I can understand when people say, the kids are sweating in May.
Look at a day like.
Having to close, some schools
Days like
has it
that.
closed today.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't wanna have to do that, and extend the school year again. So,
I get it.
I'd like to be able to have a good answer, that's all.
Like, what would that be to include that in a bonding project? Can we do that with
It's
them?
too late. It would never.
And they haven't asked for
It
it.
has to be engineered, it has to,
Yeah.
not even.
Too bad.
Way too late.
Well,
For September.
we talked about this though.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about, well, yeah.
On board with it.
No,
No,
here,
here.
Oh, yeah.
here.
So anyway, that's probably, yeah.
All right, thank you, sorry. to spend
No,
so
no,
much
no,
time.
I just wanna, I mean, we talked about it, I just wanna know whether he had followed, guys had followed up with. Cause he keeps saying this, and, I mean, at one point they were talking about creating an ad hoc group to basically take care of these buildings through us, and I'm saying, no, we can't do that, right, we're not in a position to create an ad hoc group from the Board of Finance, make sure you talk to you, and so. Yeah, I keep saying that every time I get a chance. Should we move on? Public comments, Larry, anybody else on?
No.
No, comment from board members. Comments from the chair, I do have a few things, so one, right, so summer's coming up, and so, the budget passed, and so it is sort of a lull time, and so in terms of whatever topics people want to talk about, certainly can send it to Carl, Deanne, myself, they'll move forward on. I think we were talking about having the pension presentation come up, and so whatever works, we can set up on the meetings. We can also start canceling meetings if it's near the holidays and so on.
We were gonna do an off-budget account and I
Yeah.
want, before Leanne leaves and before, I guess it's already golf season, but,
Yes, it's night, I don't have to work out.
true. We add, I mean, is that still something on your list of things?
Yeah, we absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We can do it, yep, absolutely.
So I have to imagine it go a lot smoother with you before you
I'm happy to
transition
do
out.
that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we can add that to like the next agenda.
Yeah. Or whenever it's available, whenever it's convenient for people, right, so we can figure these things out. But any other topics that people think about, please let us know. I also want to reiterate what Carl said. Thank you all very much for the budget. It was a very difficult process, and I thank you all for committing yourself and asking really good questions. I applaud you guys for asking really good questions. And I really have to thank very much for Carl, Leanne, especially Leanne, for shepherding these budget through. I'm glad it passed. I have a little bit mixed emotions about the school budget because I think parents were using that as leverage and they have lost that leverage. So I feel bad about that, but but in terms of what the town needs, I think it was good that it passed. And finally, I just want to say for myself, right, it's sort of a self-evaluation. In this process, I'm new as chair, obviously, hugely unqualified to do this. I messed up a couple of times. I misread the room and I also misread the situation, and I apologize for that. It's so, and I will. That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. We'll go with it. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. So, but thank you very much for accommodating me and my inexperience. So, if I'm still chairing next fiscal year, thank you very much. If I'm not, that's okay too. So,
I have one request. Next year, can we not do the 4 nights in a
Right,
row
we'll
and
do
go
it.
back to a Saturday meeting? in
I
January?
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That would
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, we can definitely do
Please.
that.
Nice.
We can definitely do that.
It sounded great in principle at the beginning,
did,
and then I think that week it was.
That's the second
was
one.
not
It's like Halloween.
I think what happens is, when we do it all Saturday, everybody feels pressured and so the speaker just keeps it succinct. It's one night, I think people just spread, right? And so I think 4 nights of 2 hours each were longer than one day. That's all I have.
Okay.
I'll
do it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, if you pick the aye, thank you very much.
I,
Second.